quite focused on us, and that's what we need. Without him, these things could run wild. We got Stark up top. He's gonna need us to...
So, this all seems horrible.
I've seen worse.
Sorry.
No, we could use a little worse.
Stark, we got it.
Banner,
Just like you said.
and tell him to suit up. I'm bringing the party to you.
I don't see how that's a party.
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
Does that sound like anybody you know? Does that sound like yourself? I'm always, do you know anybody who's just always angry? I want to welcome you to Anger Anonymous. My name is Lewis, and I'm an anger addict. I have anger issues. I'll confess it, and I know many of you won't confess it or you think you don't have it, but you know what? I'll be honest, Wilkeny, I got anger issues. We can just, if they had some hidden cameras around me that, you know what, every now and then I get angry. And I can just look back this week. I think the enemy, he knew what I was going to write about this week, so he seemed like he tested me in every area, in every corner of my life. Just thinking, Wednesday I went to KFC, Jessica. I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I'm really normally a person who always checks my food, right? I always check my food because I know the Incredible Hulk will come out if I get home and I find out there's something in my own one that's like that. So, but for some reason that day, because I can't remember in a while when my food wasn't all there, it wasn't exactly like I wanted, but that day, Wednesday night, why, I don't know why, but I didn't check my food. I got the chicken tender meal, 2 sides, I asked for extra biscuit, and as usual, I asked for my drink with no ice. I get my drink with no ice. So I didn't check it that night, and I get home, oh my God, why in the world did I not check my food? My 2 sides not there, my extra biscuit ain't there, and my drink got ice in it. What in the world is going on? At that moment, I went into the spirit realm, Casey. I went into the spirit realm, and I had a vision of myself grabbing that teenage boy out of the drive-thru, but then I came back real quick, Anthony. I came back, I had the anger, it just rose up right there. I know you're laughing at me and you judging me right now, but it wasn't even just Wednesday. I can go back to Thursday. I'm driving down the highway. Oh my God, it's just something about the highway that brings anger out of you that just normally does not come out on an everyday. So I'm driving down the highway, I'm on 35, just got off 20 on 35, and the traffic is like from here back to the sound booth. It's a quarter mile up the road. So what? I see the traffic. What's the point of me driving 90 miles an hour when I know in a quarter of a mile, brother, I'm gonna have to slow down, right? So I just begin to slow down then, and all of a sudden, listen, see, that type of stuff will make you want to cuss. But you're just glad that Thursday was my fast day. So that was the only day. If it had been Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I don't know what would have, but Thursday was my fast day. I was already set. It was a spiritual day. So but my blood started boiling. It's something about when I'm on the highway, when you honk at me and I know I'm not in the wrong, it does something on the inside of me. And you know what happens? You do the same thing when somebody does something in traffic you don't like. You honk, and then what do? You pull up on the side of it. What you gonna do when you get close? You gonna give them that mean mug, right? So the car pulls out around me. That's not y'all. Y'all not the only ones. So the car pulls around me. Everything honks. I'm already that quick. I'm just like the Incredible Hulk. That quick, I'm mad. So then the car pulls up, and I see the car speeding up. So I already know what's about to happen, right? So I'm ready. I got my mug ready. I'm rolling. I'm ready to go and give me that look, right? So she pulled up. It's like an 80-year-old woman, right? So she mugged me. I'm mugging back. She speeds off, and like this it's quick. I'm like, I'm finna drive back up, catch her ID, and then like, that's what I wanted to do. Tell her, pull over. You back? Pull over then. Let's exit. Take the next exit. I'm the only one that's like that, right? So I'm mad. I'm angry. But why you're judging me? I know you got some anger issues too. You got some anger. No, I don't have no anger. What about the time when you call customer service? You call customer service. Come on, does customer service just tick anybody off? I just want to talk to somebody, man. That's all I want to do. If you want to talk to this, press 1. If you want to talk to Jim, press 2. If you want to talk to about this, press 3. And then when I press 3, then they want to send me to another automated. Okay, now that you're here at 3, if you want to do this, press 1. If you want to do this, press 2. And then when you press 2, then they sit, man, customer service. That's not the right. Customer service. That's not the right. 0, 0, 0. Just give me the doggone customer service. That's all I want to talk to somebody. Then they keep you on hold for 20 minutes, and then when you finally get in somebody doggone it, you can't even understand. Doggone it. I done waited 20 minutes, went through all this, press 1, press 2, press 3, customer service, 0, 0, 0, 0, and now I gotta talk to somebody that I can't even understand. You got anger issues. Today I want to talk about anger. Let's go to the scriptures. Go with me to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5. Jesus is in the middle of what we have titled and become to know as the Sermon on the Mount. He preaches throughout many topics, or he's said to be on the top of a mountain. And at this point in our text, he's transitioned from what he's been talking about. He's talked about the Beatitudes. He's talked about being a light, being the salt of the earth. And now he decided that he wants to deal with the commandments, the misinterpretations of the commandments. So at Matthew chapter 5, hit 21 through 26, Jesus wants to talk about anger. And he says, you have heard that it was said to those of old. Now, keep in mind and catch this, the next 6 subjects that he deals with all begin with, you have heard that it was said. So you know what? You can be taught some wrong things. So let me encourage somebody, study the Bible for yourself. Learn the word for yourself. Don't just take my word for everything. Don't just take the evangelist on TV, the person you watch on Facebook every day, the person you watch on you. Don't just take their word, but study the Bible for yourself. Jesus, he said, you heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says you fool will be liable to the hell of fire. So if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put in prison. Truly I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. Today I want to tag this message, which is part 2 of our current series, Transplant, dealing with the heart, anger management. Anger management. Look at somebody next to you and say, you need anger management. You need anger management. And the person who wasn't saying amen during the intro of this sermon, they're the ones who have the most anger problems. They just didn't want you to know. So Jesus, he's talking to the crowd, and he's telling them that the only thing that you learn from the 6th commandment is that you shall not murder. But he says, guess what? You missed it. There's something deeper than just murder. Why is that? Because he lets us know that if you act on your anger, if you have anger, he sees it as the same as murder. He's basically saying, guess what? You can't even murder unless the anger precedes it. So he says, it's not just a murder issue, this command that God gave you when he said don't murder. That's a surface issue. He said the true issue is the heart. If you're writing the first point that I want to make, constructive anger. Somebody shout constructive anger.
Constructive anger.
See, constructive anger is the emotion that you should have when you witness and see injustice. It's the emotion that you should have when you witness and see and hear of sin being prevalent in this world. It's the emotion that should arise out of you when you hear about women being touched in the workplace and feel like they can't do anything about it because their jobs are on the line. Hashtag me too. The emotion that should rise from that is called constructive anger. It's the anger that should rise up when you hear about children being molested and children being abducted from other countries and turned into sex slaves. The emotion that should rise from that should be a constructive anger. Constructive anger wants to see justice prevail. Constructive anger wants to see something good come out of a negative situation. Constructive anger wants to see the right thing done and wants to see changes take place for the good of everybody involved in the situation. But on the opposite end of constructive anger is, what did I say it was? Destructive anger. See, we witness in the Bible that Jesus had anger. You know the story? He went to the temple one day and he was upset. They were in there. They were robbing people by what they were selling, adding all these taxes on top of it and interest on top of it, exchanging money in the temple, just making a profit. And Jesus was like, hey, you know what? This is supposed to be God's house of worship, and y'all up in here trying to make some money. So he gets his whip, he brings up the table, he's throwing tables over, he's responding to it. But guess what? It was a constructive anger. It was a God anger, a God type of anger. God was offended. Amen. The difference between the constructive anger and the destructive anger is during the destructive anger, you're offended. It's all about what somebody did to you. It's all about your response to somebody offending you. And from the destructive anger, you want to see your offender punished. You want to see your offender pay for the crime that they did to you. Woo! You want your baby daddy to pay for what he did to you. You want your child to pay for what he said to you, for what she said to you. You want your mom and daddy to pay for not being there for you, for not providing for you. You want them to suffer like you. That's not constructive anger. That's destructive anger. And that's the anger that Jesus was talking about. He said it's the destructive anger that leads to murder. So while you feel like you cool, because you ain't killed nobody, Jesus is like, you know what? I see you and the murderer as the same. Woo! Let that one marinate like a good piece of chicken right there. The heart is the source of your destructive anger. You thought that it was the people. You thought that it was everybody around you. But in reality, it's your heart. The heart is the source of this anger that God says, you know what? You got to deal with. You need a heart transplant. He says, this is where your anger is coming from. It's not the person on the road who beat the horn at you. It's not the person who messed up your food order that caused you to get that angry. Why? Because somebody else behind you, their order got messed up too. And you know what they thought? They didn't think about strangling the boy. They didn't think about going and cussing the girl out and cutting her throat open because she forgot her favorite French fries. She forgot to put the sauce in the bag. Somebody else said, you know what, man, maybe they were just having a bad day. Maybe they're just tired. It's time for them to go home. Maybe they worked a double shift today. So it's not how everybody responds. So it's not the person that's at the window. It's not the person that's in the car. But it's you. It's me. We have the anger issue. So I'm calling you out. I'm challenging you today to deal with the anger that's in your heart. See, some of you right now, you think that because you don't cuss, you don't got anger issues. Because you don't get mad enough to cuss, you don't got anger issues. Because you don't get mad because you ain't see yourself choking somebody, then you don't have anger issues. But let me deal with you, because I got you. Ed Young says that there are 4 types of angry people. And let me know which one you fall into, right? So all of us, more than likely, fall into one of these categories. Y'all with me? There's the ice storm type person. The ice storm type person. What's the ice storm type? You know, in Dallas, what do? We get this ice storm, and then what happens to the city? The whole doggone city shut down. Not even just at ice, just at the mention of the possibility of ice. The whole city shuts down, and everybody does what? Everybody goes in, the roads is in. If you've ever had to go to work when there was an ice storm, when the road was icy, man, it ain't nobody out there but you. That's the ice storm type person. They push people out when they get angry. They retreat. They're the ones who say, when you ask them what's wrong, they say, I'm fine. Is that you, Wilkedy? Is that you? You said, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong with me. That's the ice storm type person. But here's what it is. That person, they hold resentment. They hold resentment and they deny their anger. See, they think everybody else around them got anger issues because everybody else yells and cusses when they get mad and throws vases and they don't do any of those things because that's not their nature. They just hold it in. Resentment. They hold in their anger. They can keep their smile. I'm fine. Nothing wrong with me. And they think that's being strong when all along it's killing you on the inside. Because it's not an outward issue. It's a heart issue. That's the ice storm type person. So I knocked a quarter of you out the box. You got anger issues. We got the tornado type person. Tornadoes, they don't last long. There isn't much notice, but guess what happens when they hit? You look around and it destroyed everything. It happens here in Texas pretty frequently, right here in the Dallas area. Just last year, tornado hit Rockwall. You look around, you look at that neighborhood, it wiped the whole neighborhood out. Nothing left. Everything in its path is gone. This tornado type person is the hair trigger person with the hair trigger temper. When they strike, everybody around them. Everybody in his path gets hit. Doesn't take long. It's quick. They cool 1 minute, but man, when you offend them, they go from 0 to 10 like the Incredible Hulk, and then everything in its path sound like you. Too many people gonna admit they ain't gonna say that out loud. They like, they ain't saying nothing. Thunderstorm type person. Maybe I didn't hit you on the first two. Maybe I'll hit you on the next two. The thunderstorm, what does it do? It always has lightning, rain, thunder, and dark clouds. The thunderstorm type person's anger is acted out in the pity party. Again, we always equate anger with hitting and yelling and crying and cussing and all of these things. But this thunderstorm type person, they act out with pity party. It's the person who's crying in the bed, crying, walking around with a dark cloud, depression over their head because of what they're going through. You got anger issues. Last one, the hurricane type. Hurricanes, what do? They build up small winds. And you always know when a hurricane is coming. We're always forewarned. We're never surprised about the hurricane, but when it hits land, nothing is left standing. The hurricane type is the retaliator. I'm gonna get you, sucker. That's the retaliator. You know somebody like that? Is that you? Anybody ever been told they were vindictive? Raise your hand. No, you ain't gonna just don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. All of us fall into one of these categories. See, you came in here, nobody can tell you that you had anger issues. Why? Because you don't respond in the typical Incredible Hulk way. But the issue is all of us respond and act out our anger in different ways. If you're writing, number 3 is destructive anger negatively affects those around us. Amen. Destructive anger, it negatively affects those around us. You got to understand that anger is a relational wedge. It draws a wedge between you and the people around you in your life. Who wants to be around an angry person? Nobody. Who wants to be around a person? Who wants to be around the ice storm person who at any given moment they don't even want to talk to you because they've retreated in their closet? Who wants to be around the hurricane person that if you make a mistake and you offend them, that they're going to want to retaliate and bring vengeance upon you? They're not going to be the one that wants to talk about it and fix the situation. Who wants to be around that tornado type person? Who wants to be around that person that when they get angry, they're going to wipe everybody out? They don't care who's around them, those who love them and those who don't. They don't care. Who wants to be around an angry person? Anger, it will impact your relationship. Nobody wants to be married to an angry person. Nobody wants to be a child of an angry parent. Nobody wants to parent an angry child. It's a relationship wedge. It will hinder. It will steal, kill, and destroy relationships that you have. How do I know if my anger is destructive? You know what? You can easily, by the end of this day, every last one of you in here can find out if you have destructive anger. Because even after I preach for the next 20 minutes, Casey, somebody's still going to walk out of here and say, I don't have anger problems. But if you really want to know, ask the people close to you in your life. That's all you got to do. If you're married, brother, just tap your wife and say, do I got anger problems? Look. Now, if I tell her to tap you, you don't say nothing. In here, you wait till you get home. You're going to pay the client. That's the vengeance right there. You're going to pay for that in public. But if you really want to know if you got destructive anger, just ask you. If you're married, ask your spouse. If you got children that's at least 8, 9, 10, 12, ask them. Rolanda, ask your girls, do you got anger problems? And see what they say. Ask your mama. You grown? Ask your mama, do you got anger problems? Text me and tell me what she said. The people closest to us, no. And some of you in here, be honest with you, we don't even have to ask. I ain't got to ask my wife. She already know I got problems, I got issues. That's why I'm at Anger Anonymous right now. I never hit my wife, never cussed at my wife 13 years, so nothing to that degree. But anger is a relational wedge. If your coworkers intentionally take the long route to the restroom to avoid you, then guess what? You probably got anger issues. And here's the thing, while we laugh at something like that, you're hurting your testimony at work. When they see you and know you as the blow-up girl, the blow-up guy at work, if something go wrong, ooh, she gonna give it to you. And here's the thing, you take pride in that. The fact that people know, don't mess with me. That's ignorance. You're prideful in the fact that people at my job, people in my family know, don't play no games with me. You're gonna get it if you mess with me. What? You happy about that? You happy that people are afraid of you? You happy that people are afraid to tell you the truth in fear that the Incredible Hulk is going to come out and you're going to retaliate against them? That's what you take pride in that? We heard our testimony at work. Because how in the world, what's going to happen when I go to my coworker next week and say, hey, I would love for you to be my guest at our Easter service, and they're like, I don't know if I want to come to your church. Because every time you get angry, you cussing somebody out. You going off on somebody in the break room. Your manager's scared of you, and you telling me that you want me to come to your church. You hindered your anger. It's not only impacting you, but now it's impacting the unbelievers because God can't use you in the place that he put you in. Whatever job God gave you, guess what? You're his hands and your feet in that environment. And if you're allowing your anger, the way you act out in your anger, to manipulate the way that he can use you, guess what? You're tag teaming with the devil. You're a Christian who's partnering with Satan on your work. Because the way you act out in anger, nobody's going to come to you and say, "Ooh, I need you to pray for me," after you just got the customer client out, hung up the phone. I can't stand him. That's okay. I know y'all not going to like this one. Your children, remember, anger is a relational wedge. If your children are afraid to sneeze in fear that they're going to get slapped for making too much noise in the house, then guess what? You got anger issues. Our children should respect us, but not be afraid of us. From the standpoint that, if I drop this toy, it's going to say clank, like, what you ain't up breaking, girl? Bring the bell in here, I heard that. Like, Mom, my Legos fell apart. I'm finna get a whooping? I was trying to sleep, doggone it, and your doggone Legos wake me up. You better bring me the bell right now. we laughing, but in reality, that's how some of us parent. And we don't even realize that our anger is putting a wedge between us and our children. Because they're growing up with, I can't wait to get out of this house. And you say, well, every teenager has that, but why? But why do you have it? Some people have that mentality because they just want to go and be rebellious. But if your children can't wait to get out the house because the way you treat them, because of your anger, your outburst, your rage, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. Again, that's a result of anger, building a wedge, driving a wedge between you and your relationships. Uncontrolled anger in a parent leads to child abuse, leads to neglect. Catch this, parents. How we deal with uncomfortable situations in front of our children, basically we're teaching them this is how you deal with uncomfortable situations. That's what we're doing. Without you even realizing. The reason why some of our kids got temper tantrums is because they see mom and daddy have temper tantrums. That's what it is. So in reality, are you punishing your kids because they act like you? Your kid went off on the teacher. And the reason why he did it because he see you going off on everybody. You going off on the customer service person on the phone. You going off again on the person card next to you. What are they doing? They just doing what they see. The example. What kind of example are you setting with your anger being in control? If your spouse has to tiptoe around the house, hoping not to trigger one of your hidden bombs, then guess what? Your anger is destructive. Your anger is destructive. Uncontrolled anger is still the intimacy in the marriage. Again, just like parenting, your spouse shouldn't be afraid of you. Your spouse should respect you, but your spouse shouldn't fear you. Be afraid that if I make a mistake, if I say something the wrong way by accident, because I got an attitude, because I had a bad day at work, that I'm going to get the tornado is going to tear this house up. Uncontrolled anger. Who wants to have sex with somebody like that? I'm talking to couples right now. If you're single, you ain't talking to me. You're supposed to be abstaining from sex. But who wants to go cuddle up? Maybe that's why your spouse don't want to cuddle with you, because you're so angry. You thought something was wrong with them. They got intimacy problems because they daddy never hugged them, because they mama never. No, it could possibly be you. You just saw the Incredible Hulk with all that green. Who would see the Incredible Hulk and be like, oh, I want to just spoon with you on the couch tonight? Really? Who wants to spoon with the Incredible Hulk on the couch tonight? Nobody. Your anger could be a cause in the distancing of you and your spouse. Nobody want to talk about that, right? We've learned to function with our anger, and that's part of the problem. I've had back problems for a few years, longer than a few years. It's an accident I had probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And man, my back hurt for about 2 years straight. And I didn't do anything about it. Why? I learned to function with the pain. While it was excruciating at the beginning, I got used to it, Paisley. It became a normal part of my life for a season, for a few years. And instead of going to get it looked at, instead of dealing with the pain, Mother, I just learned to function with it. And I think that's part of some of our problems with anger, is that we've just learned to function as an angry person. The Incredible Hulk, his name is Bruce Banner. And he's learned to function with it. And the bad part about some of it is sometimes he goes on a rage and he doesn't even remember what happened. He's sorry about what happened. He can't control himself, though. Like he said, what? He said, I'm always angry. He said, I don't have to get angry. It's just a part of my life. This is who I am. He's accepted and learned the fact he's adapted and functioning as a person who stays angry. But that's not the way a believer should be. We shouldn't be like Bruce Banner, who just accepted the fact that I'm just an angry person, because that's not who God has called us to be, because it doesn't exemplify the fruits of the Holy Spirit. The Bible tells us over and over that give you 5 things that we can do to at least begin the journey of having a heart transplant. One is you have to accept that your anger is destructive. You have to accept that your anger is destructive. And half of our problems in the room is that we will walk out of here today and we will not accept that our anger is destructive. We will not take the time to internalize and examine ourselves and see that our anger is destructive. Why? Because it's everybody else. Yeah. Here's the thing about accepting is it will be painful, but it will be powerful. Until an alcoholic accepts that he's an alcoholic, he can't move forward. Until a drug addict accepts that he's a drug addict, well, I just do this every now and then. You do it every day. You are casual. You are not casual. You are an addict. Until they accept that, they won't move forward. Until you accept that you have anger issues and anger problems. And again, do not forget what I said in the beginning. Every person with anger issues does not cuss people out and throw vases up against the wall. Some people retreat, don't say nothing. They hold it into their heart. It's still an anger issue. You're going to have to accept that you're an angry person to begin the journey. What's something else that I can do, Pastor number 2? Stop blaming others for your anger. That's huge. Stop blaming others for your anger. People aren't your problem. Your heart is your problem. Stop blaming your spouse for your anger. Stop blaming your father for your anger. Stop blaming your environment, the hood, the projects, for your anger. Now you need to find out where it came from, but stop blaming them. Because nobody can control. Why are we letting people control us?
Right.
Why are we giving people that much power? No person should have that much power to where they control your emotions on a day in and day out basis. We got to get to a point and stand up today that, you know what, I'm not letting somebody from 20 years ago impact how I feel today. Today should be a brand new day. I'm getting a heart transplant. I'm tired of the fact that what my uncle did to me 25 years ago is still causing me to be mad at every man that comes in my life. Today, uncle, you can't control my life no more. Somebody needs to say that. Baby daddy, ex-husband, I'm tired. I ain't seen you in 10 years and you still controlling my emotions. I ain't seen you in 10 years. I ain't seen you in 15 years, ex-wife, ex-husband, and I can't even get in a serious relationship because of you. Today, I have to make the decision that my ex can no longer control my decisions or my emotions. Amen. It's a heart issue. God, give me a transplant. You have to accept that the anger is destructive. You got to stop blaming others for your anger. And 3, you have to find the true cause of your anger. Again, because a lot of times with our anger, we look on the surface. We look on the surface. I can give this example. I've shared this story before. There were some things at the beginning of my marriage, Kiara, that I would tell my wife that I don't like. You know, I don't like when you do this, such, such, such. And then she'd do it. Not intentionally, not vindictive, just do it. And maybe it's something that she's always done, and then I came into marriage and said, hey, where I grew up or something, I don't like this done that way. And then when she did it, I would get angry. I would get mad. But it took years for me now to go back and look and see that my anger wasn't rooted in her. It wasn't rooted in the toothpaste. The toothpaste wasn't the issue. It wasn't rooted, it wasn't the refrigerator door, wasn't it? What it was that because she didn't heed to my request, I felt disrespected. I'm taking you on a journey. So I thought it was the toothpaste, I thought it was the refrigerator door being open while she poured the water, but then I realized that it wasn't that, it was the fact that I felt disrespected when she did that. So I would get angry from that. So then from there, Paige, I had to find out why in the world does her not following that request make me so angry. So I had to trace that. back, Casey. And then I traced that back to prison. All the way back to prison. To find out that because in prison, there's this unspoken rule that if you're disrespected, you're seen as weak. So you got to do whatever you can, Ebony, to not accept disrespect. I brought that mentality out of prison that I had in prison and brought it out. And it was impacting relationship and our marriage. I didn't even realize it. You're going to have to trace the true root of the anger. Listen, catch this. Catch this. The true root of anger is only a secondary emotion. And it stems from feelings such as fear, insecurity, selfishness, disappointment, rejection, disrespect, impatience, and many other things. You're going to have to find out, why does that make you so angry? Because all this time you've been blaming a person. So for me to deal with anger in that specific area, I didn't have to work with Dana to figure out how can we get you to not leave the refrigerator door open when you pour the water. That wasn't the issue. I traced it back, and now I had to deal with changing my mentality of how I feel when I'm disrespected, because that was never her intent, that me doing this sees him as a weak person. That's just my storyline. What's your storyline? You have to trace your story. Where did it start? Because the problem is, if you stop at the beginning and think you're fixing it here, you can't fix it, because that's not where it broke. It's broke over here.
Yeah.
So that's the part of the dealing with your anger. And management is finding the true cause of the anger. And then when you find the true cause of the anger you got to face the true cause of your anger. You got to face it. You can't just acknowledge it and find out about it, but then you got to face it. You got to deal with it. If it was something that happened when you were 6, you put it in the back of the closet, you left it there, guess what? Now you're going to have to deal with it. Whatever caused your heart to be stony, in any area that we talk about over the next few weeks, you're going to have to deal with what caused it to get in there. What caused your anger? Again, it's not the people. Your children do not make you that angry. It's not your children.
Amen.
Your boss does not make you that angry. Your coworker does not make you that angry. Your ex does not make you that angry. Your baby, your mother's child does not make you that angry. What's the root? You're going to have to find it, then deal with it.
Amen.
And lastly, you're going to have to let God's word transform you. Every week, regardless of the issue of your heart, you're going to have to let God's word transform you. You're going to have to find the scriptures that deal specifically. If pride is the root of your anger, you're going to have to find the scriptures on pride. There's hundreds of scriptures just on anger that you can put inside of you. Study, read, believe it. And guess what? It will heal you. God saw anger on the same lines as murder. That's how serious it was. Don't just function in your anger. Don't just accept Bruce Banner, Incredible Hope, that this is who you are, because that's not who God wants you to be. He wants you to be a compassionate person. Paul said, put away anger, put away wrath, put away malice, and pick up kindness, and pick up compassion. That's who we're supposed to be. So he says, you know what? You thought this was just about murder, but it's really about your anger. And guess what? He doesn't stop right there. It's not over. I got something for somebody else who's in here. He doesn't change the subject. He deals with you and your anger, and then guess what? He talks about other people's anger. Come close, don't leave me yet. We almost done, but he says, I'm not done. I dealt with your anger, but now, he says, real quick, I want to talk about some people their problem.
Right.
Jesus said, that's not how a believer is supposed to think and act.
Right.
He said, if somebody mad at you and you know it, he said, it's your problem, Paisley. Not just their problem. Oh, you don't believe me? Now we got to read it, because Paisley, she's not a believer. She don't believe me, and that's good. She's a word believer, though. 23, it says, if you're offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother, your sister, your cousin them, your auntie them, your co-worker, your usher director, your children's ministry leader, your sister in the ladies' room, your brothers in the man cave, if they got something against you, the person who's mad at you, you don't even care. You ain't even got no problem with it. You don't even think you did nothing wrong. He said, the person who got a problem with you, what does he say do? He says, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. Do you know what that said? You know what Jesus was saying? He was saying, if you come to church and you worshiping during praise and worship, God is the strength of my life. And he said, then all of a sudden you remember, dang, my mama mad at me. Dang, my coworker mad at me. Jesus said, leave church. He didn't say call him that evening. He said, I would rather you stop worshiping me, stop serving your ministry role right now, leave church, and go deal with that. Why? Because that's your problem. Am I talking to any believers in the house? Ooh, I know that's not something you shout about. It's okay. It's all good in the hood. He says, if you're getting your worship on, get out of here and go fix that. He doesn't even want your worship.
Right. Amen.
He's talking to them. He says, if you were going to give me your gift at the altar, he could have easily said, hey, finish doing what you do for God, because God is first.
Yes.
He's a priority. And then go handle that. He says, I don't even want your gift right now.
My Lord.
He says, I don't want your gift, I don't want your worship, I don't want your praise, I don't want your service until you go fix that problem with your cousin and your child and your co-worker and that lady at church and that man at church. He says, I don't want your stinky worship.
My Lord.
Last one, number 5, you're responsible for attempting to fix broken relationships. You're responsible for that. Somebody's angry at you, it's your problem, and according to Jesus, he says it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to fix the relationship with your mom. It's your responsibility to fix the relationship with your ex. Woo. Why would Jesus care about all of that? Because he just got finished preaching that you are the light of the world. He just got finished preaching that you are the salt of the earth. Because, well, guess what? You got to be the light of the world even in front of your mama who offended you. You got to be the light of the world in front of your cousin who talked about you behind your back at the family reunion and you heard about it later on. You got to be the light of the world in front of your baby mama and your baby daddy that messed you over and hurt you and wounded you. You got to be the light of the world over your ex who changed your entire life because of what they did. You got to be the light of the world in front of your co-worker who went off on you in front of everybody and spread lies and caused you not to get the management position. You got to be the salt of the earth even in their life. What happens when I try to restore that relationship and they're angry with me? I get to be God's hands and feet.
Yes.
And somebody gets to experience what true forgiveness is. Somebody gets to experience what unconditional love is. Because we serve a Jesus that put no conditions on loving us.
Yes, Father. Amen.
He pursues us even when we're walking away from him. He pursues us even when we're being disobedient. His love covers us even when we're in the multitude of sins. He says, I need you to be there in the lives of the people. Why? Because they can't see me. They can't hear me, but they can see you, and they can hear you. And if you let me use you, you can impact the people
Yes,
in your
sir.
life.
Yes, sir.
He says, deal with anger. Not only in your life, but help the people who have anger towards you in their life. Our response to our anger is the description of what's in our heart. And the question I ask you as I close is, what do you want to do with what's in your heart?